I'm checking the chat box. When you hear goals, what do you think of first? What comes into your mind as a picture? Yes. What comes into your mind? Target and objective. Yes. Performance. Yes. What else? What else? Yeah. Destination, strategy, mission. When I hear goals, I think of what I want to achieve. You're all correct. Everything I'm seeing on this box is very, very correct. And I agree with them completely. However, just a few. Let me confirm that my screen is visible. Yeah. Good. Yes. 2 slides only. 2 slides only. We are here to discuss goal setting. What I've seen in the chat box is very interesting to me. Aims and objectives. Correct. Goals. What you set to achieve. What is it that you need? What is it that you want? The tangible representation of your desire is what we call goal. But the art of goal setting is actually the art of taking active steps towards your goal. Your goal most times are not really the issues. You want to be a chartered accountant, you want to achieve your ACCA, you want to build a house, you want to save towards buying a car, you want to do something tangible in life. Those are goals, and getting goals to me are very easy. What is really difficult is the art of goal setting. And perhaps you've been setting goals. We are here to discuss and look at other things you can do to make your goals very effective. When you set goals, you develop an action plan. I want to be an ACCA chartered person. You start by asking, how many subjects are in ACCA to write? 13. How many exemptions can I get? 3. I have 10 questions to do or 10 exams to do. How many diets do I want to do the exams before I conclude? How many exams can I write in a diet? So between now and the end of 5 to 6, 7, 8 diets, I am expecting that I will get to where I'm going. Now that is developing an action plan, and that's an active step. It is different when somehow in our minds we just think, I want it anyway. That's not goal setting, that's wishful thinking. So I'm going to take the assumption that we all agree on this call that goal setting is active, it's not a passive step. We are also going to assume that we all agree that the goal that you are setting will be documented. Why is that important? It will be documented because when you achieve any of those goals, you can tick off, you can tick off, you can tick off. The process of ticking off gives you the motivation to continue. So if it's just in your mind, it is when you want to remember or recall it intentionally that you know. But when you tick it off, when you have it in a place where it's written and it's broken down into digestible bits, then you're on your way to achieving those goals. Writing it down also creates a sense of seriousness to what you're doing. If you require help or support from anybody, the only way they can give it to you is when they know where you're going. You have 10 steps and they can identify with 4 or 5 to support you. You can even in the next 6 months begin to plan what other things you want to do before you get to a particular setting and say, well, before I write this particular exam, I will require these textbooks and I'm going to identify who can support me here. So people do not have the power to get into your brain to identify what is sitting there. So one of the very common mistakes we see people make is they think they are setting goals and the goal is in their mind. That's not an active step towards goal setting. The next thing I'd like you to know about goal setting is that goal setting comes in levels. There will be daily tasks, there will be weekly tasks, there will be monthly tasks, 6-month tasks. Very simple things, nothing heavy. Now, if you start out by not really knowing how many things you want to break it down into, I totally get it, it can happen that way. However, start with the big picture. In 2023-24, I want to be chartered. If you now require assistance from people to help you to put the goals in order, then you can enlist the activity of coaches, mentors, as our top affiliates have said, so that they can support you. But where your own vision is not clear, where your desire is not clear, it becomes difficult for people to even know how to come in. All right. So in goal setting, very quickly, I'd like to bring your attention to what are the things that can make your goal setting effective. And that is why we are here to discuss briefly in the next 10 minutes. Good. Having said all that we have said about goals, it should be documented, it should be clear and concise. You need to get an inspiration. The first thing is an inspiration. Is there anybody in your space who has ever achieved a goal before? Let's say you want to be a pilot or a chartered accountant for this instance, and you don't even have anybody around you. You can get on LinkedIn. Our top affiliates have spoken to us today about many things. They can become your inspiration. You are married, you see married people achieve their ACCA. You set that inspiration in front of you and let it become the reason that you want to do it. Again, you can set out your why. Your why, like Simon Sinek said in his book, Start with Why. Why do I want to be chartered? Because if you don't get inspiration, the energy to move through your goal will be very difficult. You will struggle. You will see bumps along the way. Like Abayomi has said, many times you start out with this exam, high energy, enthusiastic, read. Sometimes you read very well. But maybe due to some errors, the exams come back as not good, 40, 45, sometimes some very wicked marks like 47, 49. I got a couple of those when I was writing. You know, that enough can throw you off balance. But when your inspiration is clear and you see someone who is there before, or you set your inspiration to say, once I'm chartered, I have a seat in the office, maybe I can move immediately from finance controller to senior finance controller. Just define an inspiration for yourself so that when you see the bumps on the way, you stand up, you pick up, and you start to move. That's number one. Number two, just as you will want to determine the destiny of a tree starts up with a seed that you plant on the ground. If I ask you to tap in the chat box right now, what does that seed require to become a full-blown Iroko tree? Does anybody know? I'm checking the chat box. The resources that a seed, a mango seed, require to become a mango tree. Have you got an idea of what it is those things should be? Is anyone quick to type it in? Watering, correct. Water it, yes. Watering, yes. Manure, absolutely okay. Good manure. Sunlight, yes. What about the soil? Yes, the soil must be rich. You cannot practice on a sandy soil, probably on a loamy soil. Okay, so thank you. Fertile ground, beautiful. Sun, water, and all of those. So we will stop there. Thank you for that feedback. Very interesting. So you have to sit back. Don't forget, we are not talking about goal setting in the context of how we usually hear it. We are talking about goal setting that is going to deliver effective results. Effectiveness is measured when what you set out to achieve is achieved in exact terms. You understand what I mean? You get what you want and you get it how you want it. Now you need resources for your goals to also thrive. Your goal is like a seed. It's still a figment of your imagination. It starts off as a desire. It starts as something that you are setting your mind to achieve. But you are going on a journey. You need to sit back and ask yourself, what do you need? As you have been able to identify what we need for a seed, a mango seed to become a mango tree, the same way you would require to sit back and ask yourself, what do you need for this goal to come to fruition? You need maybe a CCA approved learning partner. You live in location X. The nearest to you is location Y. Do you want to do online or you want to do in person? What do you require? You need textbook, you need notebooks, you need this, you need that. So in that way, you set out yourself to pull together all you need. You may not get everything at once, but mere recognizing that these are the things that I need is the first thing. Then you can enlist people to help you. But not knowing what you need makes it difficult for people to come in and then support you. The next, who do you need? You need teachers, you need mentors, you need those who have done it before. You probably need your approved learning partner. Sometimes you want to go on YouTube. Find who is important in this journey with me. And in talking about who, it's not just talking about anybody or basically or strictly those who have done ACCA before. No, not exactly. You are married, you need your husband's understanding. This is my timetable, this is my goal. I will need your support in this area so that we do this co-parenting actively. The times that you are writing exam or you are going for lectures, whatever it is they can do to support your parents, your support structure. Even in the office, some of the period where it will be tight for you to handle a couple of things and deliver them. Don't you sit somewhere and think, well, it's all by myself and then I'll do it. I believe that some majority of people who do ACC are usually those who work, and because they assume that people are not interested in their progress, they don't enlist people to support them. In that way, when they fall, then there's nobody to raise them up. So you will always need who, but you have to identify who those fellows are in the office, at home, spouses, parents, and those who you. In fact, sometimes even in church or religious centers. Maybe you have some activities you've been doing before. At the time, I was teaching the children in church. When I wanted to really focus on this, my ACCA, because I failed many times, I had to create a space for myself and told my leader I cannot be available for so and so period. I need to be attending lectures at so and so time. And they understood. So I was able to do all that. Because if you don't take care of your stakeholders, guess what? They will become your biggest distraction. And your goal will not come to pass. Because you hear stories like, because of this ACC, because of this ACC, because of this ACC, we cannot eat, we cannot go anywhere. So those distractions are enough to slow you down in your tracks. When do you want to get where you're going? Because time is infinitely elastic. What do I mean? If you want to get it in 10 years, time is there. If you want to get it in 10 months, it's your choice. But you have to sit back and say, when do I want to start? When do I want to conclude? That boundaries that you have created will give you the energy to give yourself strength in the process by saying, well, I'll soon finish. So you agree with yourself, your commitment is strong, and you're able to focus on what you're doing. Now you need, okay, good. Having said all of those, people start out by saying, I don't know who I need, I don't know what I need, I don't know what I'm going to really need. Don't worry yourself too much. You can start by asking yourself, what are the things I'm going to say no to? From the conversations I heard of me before I started talking, I hear people saying, the same phone you use for social media, Instagramming, Facebooking, jamming, and doing all of those things, you can convert them to your tools. And that's what I did. I created time where I looked at those things, and I created time where I just removed the app completely on my phone so that I'm not distracted. So I knew what I was going to say no to. I checked my religious commitment. I knew what I was going to say no to. I checked my location, my children, and all of the attention I give to different things. I listed those things that, okay, for this season, they are not my priorities. They can be good enough, but they are not going to support this goal. It will be different for different people. So you sit back and ask yourself, what am I going to say no to in order to say yes to my goal? If you don't define that as well, you get to a point where you have too many trivial things that are competing for your 24 hours. Mark you, there's nobody who has power to inflate your 24 hours like a balloon. You only have 24 hours, the more, and you just have to apportion it very effectively. Very quickly, I'm asking you, have you got a white space? To achieve your goal all the time, you will always need to create a white space. This for me is like a metaphor that says, I want to start out new. I want to declutter my system. If you like going to parties, if you like doing whatever, people have different activities that occupy their time, depending on what it is that they have enjoyed over time. Create a white space. Wipe your board clean and start by saying, I want to start a new life now. It is not what I like or what I didn't like before. It is now a new thing I want to achieve. If you can create a white space, you will now determine what you should put in now and now and how. Declutter, declutter, declutter. That's what a white space means. Declutter. At work, at home, everywhere, declutter. You like to hang out, there's nothing wrong with it. But for the purpose of achieving this particular goal, as we have heard from some of our top affiliates, they've told us that they had had to look at this, look at that, look at the other one, and put them aside. By the time you are through, don't forget, you already have a why. You have an inspiration for starting. When you are through, you will celebrate. The people that didn't see you for a long time, they'll come closer and then they want to eat with you. So that's very important in terms of identifying the resources that a mango seed requires to become a mango tree. And that's what I want you to do. Very quickly, before I run out of my time, what does success look like for you? Because time and season will come that it will appear as if you are missing your targets. But when you keep the pictures in front of you, you put your emotions behind those your expectations. Some people will call it vision board, where you cut out pictures and put on the wall something you see late at night, first in the morning. Those things are very revigorating. They form a neural pathway and create a mental energy, enough bandwidth for you to become, even when you get your result and it's not good, as long as you look at that smiling face or whatever you want to use, it reminds you that that journey is not concluded, and then you continue to do it. Those are the things that you need. You need to put success in front of you, so that when 3 of you write in the office and only you fail one paper, you don't allow that to take you off the track. Some of us didn't do those things, and anyway, I left it for 5 years, came back to it because I just didn't know how to get myself inspired. So your goal should inspire you. It should motivate you. It will help you. It should propel you. And the way to do that is to ensure that you are looking at people in front. After all, this affiliate did it. And that's what ACC is trying to do for us. Create us a mental picture of those who did it, so that you can connect with them, you can join with them, you can ask for advice, and in your mind, you can calm yourself down. If this fellow did it, then I can. All right. Create a reward system for yourself. Put it in front of you. Once I qualify or I conclude these exams, I'm going to take myself to Miami. If it's not Miami, I'm going to buy a new car. Just create a reward so that that reward becomes your carrot. You are the one dangling it. Don't forget, the overall topic today is mastering self-discipline. So self-discipline is a subset of self-leadership, where you are not hanging your success on somebody who wants to push you. You want to take your destiny in your own hands. So create a reward for yourself. By the time I'm through with this thing, I am going to do this, I am going to go here, I am going to achieve this, I am going to sort this out. That reward propels you. So 5 things I want you to take away before you say you have an effective goal. What should you be looking for? What are the ticks? What are the do's? What are the don'ts? Number 1, focus on significant few rather than trivial many. What does that mean? Don't put 14 things in front of you and call it a goal. It does not make sense. You're not going to achieve it. You'll just be spread thin and dissipating energy in many places. So sit back. It's not the same time you want to achieve ACC, that you want to become the best worker in church, you want to be a pastor, you want to be a deacon or imam or everything. And in your health, you want to do workouts, you want to be the best employee of the year. That's very cool. But you see, just focus on maybe 2 or 3 major things at a time. Instead of trivial many, just have a long list. They say, what are your goals? 2022 is coming. You write 42 things. Haba. You are one human being. Can't you take a big one and then take subsidiary goals, 1 or 2? That will help your goals to be very effective. 2, be committed and be self-accountable. I just explained that. Self-leadership is very important. If you are looking for someone to push you and ask you if you have settled down to read your book, they may miss it out. Number 3, set goals based on who you are. Don't copy your neighbor's template. Find out what your Einstein window is. When people say, I will just study overnight, it's very good. It fits into their system. There are some people that when they study overnight, they become during the day they are useless. They just cannot concentrate, they can't focus. Because their high energy is during the day. It's not during the night. So find out what works for you so that you don't easily break down and become discouraged. All right. Number 4, be stakeholder minded, which is what I've also spoken about before. Your goal is not just about you. Enlist those who are surrounding you, who will become a participation, who will be happy for you when you are not there. When you are there. And number 5, enlist committee of true believers. That is people who believe you can do the work. Don't stay among those who wants to pity you and say, this ACC is even too tight. I even heard 33% is the pass rate for AFL. I even heard 29% is the pass rate for AAA. This thing is too difficult to know. You don't need those people. You need people who are true believers in the picture that is in your mind. Because what you hear has a tendency to slow you down or to propel you forward. With these 5 things, your goals will be effective. And I shall be hearing of your success results, and you shall be communicating and be saying, wow, it works. It's not simple, but you can make it easy for yourself by doing all these 5 things. I will pass the mic back to Abayomi now so that we can take questions or clarifications on the very short nuggets that we have delivered. So I did well, 23 minutes. Over to you, Abayomi.